help you? Huh? Can I help you? Hey everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. As you guys can see, I am finally getting some plants planted up in my shade garden bed right behind me. This garden bed has kind of been an ordeal for me, and I don't know why. It was just one spot in my garden that I was really stuck on. It took me about a year to decide what I wanted. I finally decided on a bench flanked with 2 standard iceberg roses and then a bunch of beautiful shade to part shade plants kind of planted all around it. And I really want it, my goal for this is to look as lush as possible. I want this to kind of be like a secret garden area just in this corner behind my lawn. So nothing like a garden tour coming up to get me going and get me working on this garden bed. And even then, I am only a couple days before that garden tour, and now I'm finally getting stuff in. So you can see right behind me, this is an Angiostar fatshedera. That is a new one for my garden. It's actually a new plant. I talked about it a little bit in my back garden tour, but it's actually a combination between a Fatsia japonica and an English ivy. And it's supposed to be the best of both worlds. It's supposed to vine like an English ivy, except for it's not supposed to attach onto the wall. And it's supposed to have that beautiful, variegated, gorgeous leaves like a Fatsia japonica has. It's a shade to part shade plant, and I am planning to train it along my fence like you all know I love to do. I am also planting a ton of the white giant calla lilies. I grew all of these from rhizomes. I started them, I want to say in January, just to get a head start, and you can see I do have a couple blooms on them. They're such babies though. I wanted them to be a little bit bigger for the garden tour, but that is okay. So I probably am going to have to move them because they are white giants. They're going to get really, really big. So I will have to probably move them around, but calla lilies can handle me messing with them, so I'm not too worried about it either. So you guys saw me working with this giant here. This is a power planter auger. And I have to say, I was one of those that was like, auger? No way. I don't need an auger. I like my shovel. I like my trowel. I like doing it the old-fashioned way. So last year I got a power planter auger, just the small one, the 2-inch and the 3-inch one, and it completely changed my gardening game. Absolutely completely changed it. And if you guys have been watching my videos, you know, like, I don't know why it took me so long to start using the auger. Now that I use it, it makes things so fast. So I was talking to Power Planter and they offered to send me this one. And at first I was worried because this thing is huge. This thing is massive. And I thought, I'm never going to be able to handle that. It's going to be like, I don't know, like a jackhammer or something like that. It's not. It's totally fine. It looks way worse than it actually is. Once you get a good grip on it, it stops if it gets out of control. You just have to make sure that you set your drill settings appropriately. I don't have time to go over it right now, but hopefully next week I will be filming a video where I'm planting my dahlias in my flower field, and I will be using this big auger to make things super easy. So stay tuned for that video where I will show you guys all my tips and tricks as an amateur using one of these big augers. So I've got all my holes dug. Took me, I don't know, like 6 minutes or something like that. And now all I have to do, I'm gonna amend each hole with some compost and then some starter fertilizer, starter fertilizer. And then I'm gonna plant on my plants and then I'll be done. Well, I have to mulch, but then I'll be done with this shade garden bed, all right? So let's keep going. What are you doing? Excuse me? Excuse me? That is not your garden bed. Excuse me. You. This is Hermione, and she has what you call attitude. Yes, you. Are you mad for some reason? Excuse you. And all done. So if you guys were wondering why I put so much compost around each hole, and I don't normally always do that with my planting holes, it's because this whole area right here has terrible soil, absolutely terrible soil, mainly from like here to here is the absolute worst. So using the power planter makes it a lot easier to dig, but I still don't think it's good quality soil. I think it's like really clay, really like, look at that. Yeah, so it's just an area that I'm going to have to continually keep amending. Things seem to be working okay, like they're growing okay here, but I think the more compost, the better in this garden bed. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3 Angiostar Fatchaderas. I did have to plant them a little bit further away from the fence than I wanted to. I'm going to take the stake off as soon as I get wire up, but there was some concrete right there. But that's fine. I can just angle it once it starts vining. And then I do have a delphinium. That's a blue and white delphinium. It's not blooming yet. Hopefully it blooms by the garden tour. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7 of the cow lilies. So I think those will be really pretty probably next year once they grow in, but at least they're in. At least it looks like I've tried to do something here. So at least I've got this garden bed mostly planted up. I gotta still put some mulch in, but I think this is gonna be it for now. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm happy that I at least have something, because I was kind of worried there was gonna be absolutely nothing in this garden bed, because it's just one of those garden beds that I just could not make up my mind. So anyway, I don't want you guys to be afraid of the power planter auger, especially the small ones. The small ones are so easy. The bigger ones, you do have to have a little bit of muscle, like you can't have super weak arms. But you know, if you're kind of similar to me strength wise, I didn't think I could do it, and I totally can do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I actually have a master gardener docent coming over right now. She's the docent that's going to be at the garden tour from my house. So I have to go around and I have to show her all my plants and talk about them to her. And you guys know I love doing that. So that's what I'm off to. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.